Why do we say, the deeper you delve into the universe, the more despair you feel? Imagine, the universe appeared out of thin air. From an infinitesimally small point, it has silently transformed into what it is today. And all of this, could it be a carefully packaged, and a story that can be understood by humans? The truth may be even more bizarre than we imagine. Hopefully, in the next 40 minutes, can bring you a pleasant experience. Journey of space exploration. I also wish you a sweet dream. When you look up at the night sky, the stars you can see, galactic dust. In fact, they account for less than 5% of the total intelligence in the universe. What is the remaining mysterious 95%? They cannot see directly. Dark matter is also difficult to detect. Dark energy and the ubiquitous energy field. Behind all of this, does it conceal some profound pattern? A sophisticated encoding, a mathematical precision so perfect it's astonishing. Is all of this just random chance? Or he was deliberately designed? When we try to use cutting-edge scientific hypotheses and profound philosophical thinking, let's examine the universe we live in together. Your inherent perception. Perhaps it will face a complete upheaval. Let's first try using mathematics as a key to interpret the universe. You will find, in those descriptions of how the universe works, in the most precise physical equations, any fundamental constant, even the slightest change, all of these may lead to the collapse of our entire real world. Take gravity as an example. If his strength, it only increased by a minuscule 1% of 1/100000000, the star will burn out too quickly. Planets simply cannot form. The lives we have caused will also cease to exist. This is something we must face. The first cosmological back theory. Our existence is like being suspended in a series of perfectly, on the tip of a needle, more accurate physical constants. This extreme precision, the presence of design is strongly implied. However, science tells us, this seemingly perfect possibility, it was merely a statistical stroke of luck. In the possible infinite number of universes, it is filled with countless physical parameters, the chaotic reality of failure, and we happen to live within that parameter. Among the right lucky ones. Faced with these two explanations, which do you think is easier for people to accept? You might think, if the universe was designed, so who is the designer? Or what? If such a designer truly exists, so who designed this designer? Now, we seem to have inevitably fallen into an infinite nested loop of logic. Perhaps that's why we are forced to admit limitations of one's own understanding. Acknowledging the mysteries of the universe, we are like ants trying to understand the structure of skyscrapers. Even if Albert Einstein is widely regarded as having the most brilliant mind, when he faced the vision of the beginning of time, I also felt the inadequacy of existing theories. He believes that space is a vast construct of thought, distorted by mass and energy. Near the mysterious black hole, time will slow down to almost stand still. If moving at the speed of light, time will then stop completely. At the moment of the Big Bang, our understanding of the concept of time, it may not exist at all. Therefore, before the initial expansion of the universe occurred, there is no previous one that we can define. So the question remains, what happened before the Big Bang? It might really be like asking, what's north of the North Pole? It is based on our daily experience. But in the universe, problems that lose meaning under extreme conditions, those we once, the physical rules and logic upon which trust is based, intuition, when facing the fundamental nature of the origin of the universe, it then became completely ineffective. So if you could reverse the flow of time, returning to the beginning of the universe, the infinitely dense beginning, what kind of scene will you see? It was the moment of creation, or something completely unimaginable to us, a state beyond current understanding. Regarding the question of the origin of this universe, some physicists have also proposed various bold hypotheses. For example, the infinite loop universe hypothesis. You might also want to reflect on your own existence. Every atom that makes up your body, they were all dying stars billions of years ago, forged in a fiery core. It is no exaggeration to say, you are part of the evolution of the universe. And the universe seems to be accessed through what we call this peculiar phenomenon of consciousness, to reflect on and experience oneself. Our physical body, this profound connection with the vast universe, essential connection. It was merely a coincidence. Or is it evidence of some grander design? And when we delve into the microscopic world, the vision revealed by quantum physics, it even overturned our understanding of truth, traditional understanding of reality and nothingness. He told us, even in spaces that we consider empty, it is actually full of non-stop activities. Particles appear out of thin air in a vacuum, then disappeared in an instant. The quantum field fluctuates and is controlled within it. beneath the seemingly smooth and tranquil vacuum surface. Actually, it was a boiling, surging, dynamic reality full of infinite possibilities. So, the absolute nothingness in our traditional concept. From a quantum perspective, it may not exist at all. However, all that we currently possess, known physical laws, at that extreme moment of the Big Bang, all will become completely ineffective. Our mathematical tools, our theoretical framework, no matter how you look at it, you can't describe the scene there. We seem to have reached the boundaries of human knowledge. The hypothetical designer, is it hidden in this place that we cannot use? Existing physics, penetrating the mathematical starting point. Or perhaps this simply signifies that we humans, the limits of current comprehension, regardless of the outcome, all of these inspire a deep sense of awe and wonder at the unknown. If we persist, introducing the concept of a creator-designer, then what follows? There are often more than the answer itself, more challenging issues. For example, if the designers truly intended for the emergence of life, and the parameters of the universe were carefully adjusted, so why in our vast observable universe, life phenomena seem so rare, it even approaches nothing? The vast majority of the universe's environment, regarding life forms as we know them, they were all extremely malicious and hostile. Even on our lucky Earth, it is estimated that among the species that once existed, up to 99% have become extinct forever. Is this truly the legitimate name of intelligent design? Or is it circumstantial evidence of his absence? Perhaps, this is simply because our perspective is too limited. We are carbon-based life forms, in a circle around rocks that stabilize the orbit of stars, evolved from a rocky planet. Our definition of life, understanding consciousness. Naturally, it is also deeply influenced by ourselves, the constraints of existence form. But if life can take steps that we currently cannot take at all, what form of imagination? If consciousness can burn inside a star, in hot plasma, or in the cold, ultra-low temperature gases of interstellar clouds, how does it arise? If the entire universe itself, it possesses something we cannot currently understand, what about diffuse forms of consciousness? Under such questioning, bold scientific speculations and cutting-edge research, the boundary between physical theories, it is becoming increasingly blurry. Let us think more deeply. Another great mystery shrouding the universe. Dark energy, this mysterious and invisible force, it seems to be driving our universe. Accelerated expansion. Based on current estimates, they comprise an astonishing 68% of the total intelligence in the universe. However, as for what he really is, we still know almost nothing. What's even more puzzling is the intensity of dark energy. It also seems to have undergone some kind of perfect calibration. This allows galaxies to be visible in the early universe. Sufficient time to form. It will not cause all matter to be destroyed by expansion force. It fell apart before it even tore apart. This is yet another coincidence that allows us to exist. Or is there something hidden about reality? The key clue to the essence. Dark matter is inseparable from energy. He comprises approximately 27% of the total intelligence in the universe. It is also something we cannot see or touch. Mysterious components that cannot be directly detected. But his powerful gravitational effect, however, in the formation of the large-scale structure of the universe, played a crucial role, like an invisible cosmic framework. Without this gravitational framework composed of dark matter, the galaxy will fall apart. The star itself, it's also possible that we'll never be able to, condensation in the primordial gas cloud, formation and us, naturally it is impossible, appeared on the stage of this universe. Let's calculate what constitutes what we can. All the ordinary matter we see, it only occupies a small fraction of the total intelligence of the entire universe. Less than 5% of us and everything we know. The real exception is in this universe, rather than universal rules. And we humans, with this brain made up of a mere 5% of matter. It's amazing that I was able to try to understand all of this. Perhaps one of the greatest mysteries of the universe. Why do we need to survive and reproduce on Earth? The human brain evolved to avoid predators. It is amazing that they can develop abstract thinking, mastering things like quantum mechanics, general relativity. This profound theory describes the extreme states of the universe. The abstract mathematical models we created. These are products of purely human thought. It's unbelievable that it could be like this. Accurately capture physical reality. The deepest operating mode. Is this implying our way of thinking through some means, with some kind of inherent design or logic of the universe? Or is it just another coincidence? Reality just happens. He chose mathematics as his basic language. When the Schwankfing experiment revealed the earth-shattering truth, behavior of microscopic particles, will it depend on whether or not it is under observation? When a fundamental change occurs, our understanding of reality, it has been hit by an unprecedented impact. Reality itself, it seems to change depending on whether we are watching him or not. What does this tell us regarding the relationship between consciousness and the physical world? What kind of incredible connection exists? Does the observer himself, to some extent, It is the foundation of reality. Surrounding these perplexing quantum phenomena, physicists have proposed a variety of a bold interpretation of quantum mechanics. Some interpretations believe it is the participation of consciousness. This led to the paralysis of the quantum wave function. Essentially, it involves observing behavior to enable definite reality to exist. Other, even more bizarre interpretations, for example, the famous many worlds interpretation, then propose each quantum possibility. Each of these will give rise to his own universe, thus creating a infinitely branching multiverse. Each of the possible outcomes, they all happen somewhere. There are also some interpretations. Then the focus is on the particles, that which Einstein called ghostly, supereffective amount, entanglement phenomenon. No matter how far apart two intertwined examples are seen, they can instantly sense changes in the other person's state. This completely violates, this enhanced our intuitive understanding of causality. All these interpretations, in mathematics, these are often self-consistent. However, the realistic approach they described, everything about it was profound and bizarre. If the multiverse theory is correct, so the universe we live in, it's just one of the bubbles in an infinite universe. Every such cosmic bubble, each may have its own unique physical constants, basic laws and evolutionary history. In this case, our universe, the amazing perfect harmony it exhibits, this is not evidence of design. It's more like a result of selection bias. The reason why, discovering that you live in this physical parameter, just right, in a universe that allows life to exist, simply because those physical parameters are chaotic. Other universes unsuitable for life. There was no observer at all, being able to explain why our universe, such a special problem. This is what is known as the principle of human nature. He is a designer. It provides a seemingly scientific alternative explanation. But at least for now, whether it's the designer who is high above, or is it the multiverse hidden beyond this world, these all far exceed our current scientific experiments, the scope that can be directly verified or the political commissar. We, composed of countless stars, evolved over millions of years, insignificant dust. Yet it possesses a spirit that dares to use our simple instruments, tools and limited wisdom, to explore the depths of the universe, the mind that contemplates the universe as a whole. It is from this seemingly humble perspective, we have issued a statement about the universe itself, the ultimate question about the meaning of our own existence. Between the largest and smallest scales of the universe, there seems to be a kind of fascinating and bizarre symmetry. The large-scale structures of the universe that we observe, those are formed by the connection of countless galaxy clusters, cosmic web-like fibers stretching billions of light years. This form, they are actually connected to neurons in our brains, the formed complex network, strikingly similar. At the other extreme, at the Planck scale, that ever-churning quantum foam of space-time, some of its theoretical descriptions, it also seems to be vaguely echoing this complex network structure. These similarities span countless orders of magnitude. It was just a coincidence. Is it still implying something? Reality itself possesses a certain profound characteristic of line breaks. The same pattern, at the most microscopic quantum level, on the most macroscopic cosmic scale, constantly repeating and showcasing itself. Some theoretical physicists have even boldly proposed matter and energy as we perceive them. It may not be the most basic constituent element of reality. Reality may ultimately be entirely composed of information, the universe itself, rather than being a physical particle, the entity consisting of subcompany and factory, rather, more like a giant information processing system, a grand cosmic and computational undertaking, or a brilliant simulation program. From this perspective, the basic examples we observed, and the interaction forces between them, they may all just be information, encoding at the most basic level. It's just an external manifestation of transmission and processing. If this conjecture is true, so the designer of the universe, its role might be more like a highly skilled programmers, rather than a creator god in the traditional sense. However, the problem still exists. Who wrote the code that makes this universe work? And in what kind of way does it operate that we cannot understand? Imagined hardware. It seems we're once again inevitably facing this situation. I fell into that familiar, in the logical loop of infinite nesting dolls. At this moment, you might think, are we really overthinking things? Are we doing this unconsciously? Our human society, those things about design formed in life, the concept of purpose, forcibly projected onto a possibility, a universe that completely transcends these finite categories, beyond reality. Maybe the universe exists in such a simple and pure way. There was no preset reason. There was no hidden intention. All these questions we ask, confusion and sighs, it's all just our minds yearning for understanding. When facing the vast unknown, inevitable wishful thinking. However, just as we were trying to use, simplicity resolves the complexity of the universe. The universe itself has presented us with new challenges. Let us enter into a similarly fundamental universe. Yet it is also full of profoundly debated areas. A wounded world. The second law of thermodynamics clearly tells us. In any isolated closed system, overall disorder and acute injury, it will always increase irreversibly. If the universe is viewed as a closed system, this same principle should also be followed, moving from order to disorder, finally reaching the state of heat transfer. However, what is in contrast to this is, these highly ordered, extremely complex life forms, yet it miraculously exists in this place that should, in a universe trending towards chaos. Life itself, it seems to be within a local area, striving to resist the strange phenomenon of the flood of wounds. They utilize external energy flows. For example, life on Earth utilizes solar energy to create and maintain its own organization and complexity. However, this kind of localized commodity inspection, therefore the entire larger system, at the cost of a greater increase in commerce, and it depends on an open system and continuous energy gradient. The sun is essential for life on Earth. This energy gradient is provided. So what provides the universe itself with the most? The initial low starting point and its continued evolution. What about the energy gradient? If the commerce always increases, does this mean the universe? It must begin with a business, extremely low or a special state of extreme order. Why is this the probability? Extremely low initial state. The mystery of the low quotient in this early universe. Some physicists believe this could be evidence for the cyclic universe model. The universe may be undergoing a birth, expansion and contraction, the cycle of rebirth. Black holes may be resetting the damage. China plays a key role. Others suggested our observable universe. It may just be one of a larger universe. Occasional low damage. Another viewpoint in the region is that the time we perceive, time always flows unidirectionally from the past to the future. The root cause. This is merely a macroscopic manifestation of the overall increase in damage to the universe. If there exists a hypothetical region of alkali damage, time may appear to flow backwards. Next, let us consider a more disturbing backstory. Boltzmann's brain-back theory. This thought experiment points out, if the universe has existed for a sufficiently long time, and enough space, so according to statistical mechanics and quantum mastery, purely due to random particle collisions and combinations, in principle it is entirely possible, accidentally assembled a complete memory and conscious experience, isolated brain. This Boltzmann brain, although it will only exist for an extremely brief moment, but its subjective experience, it might be exactly the same as what you are right now. From a purely statistical probability perspective, random mastery, the creation of such a false, the possibility of an isolated brain for memory, it is far greater than randomness. Mastering the creation of a group like us, having a long evolutionary history, the possibility of a fully ordered universe. Does this mean, compared to you who is a real being, real individuals in the real universe, you are more likely just experiencing a fantasy? The Boltzmann brain, a real and fleeting existence. Cold mathematical derivation. This seems to point to this disturbing conclusion. This is why physicists believe this is a profound issue that urgently needs to be addressed. It is particularly noteworthy. Our universe exists on different observational scales. They seem to exhibit completely different behavioral characteristics. On a macro scale, everything seemed to follow deterministic physical laws. As long as you have enough precise initial conditions and computational power, we can achieve astonishing accuracy, predict their future state. However, when we enter the microscopic quantum scale, certainty seems to have disappeared. Instead, it is a kind of thing that seems fundamentally impossible to eliminate, the probabilistic nature of division. We can never predict accurately where will an electron appear in the next moment. Only its probability can be calculated. Some philosophers and theologians even saw the possibility of the existence of free will. The randomness at the quantum level is considered to be uncertainty. Possible. It is precisely a mechanism that transcends the laws of physics. Indirect, under the premise of violating known physical laws, ingeniously influencing and shaping the space of reality. So, this deep understanding of randomness at the core of reality. What is the true nature of the universe? Or is it a manifestation of some deeper determinism? Or is he truly a source of some kind of freedom? What exactly is the essence of this wit? If randomness at the quantum level has already enough to give you a headache, so the concept of infinity, his scale and the universe, when associated with possibility, perhaps this is what limits our human potential, the biggest challenge to comprehension. Some models in modern cosmology show that the universe may be infinite at our current ability, beyond the observed universe. Space can extend infinitely in all directions. If the universe is truly infinite, according to probability theory, A dizzying inference. It inevitably appeared. In an infinitely large space, any kind of limited matter constructs with a non-spiritual existence probability, they will inevitably repeat infinitely. This means, in some faraway corner of the vast expanse, there must exist another person who is almost the same as you, the same Earth. Another person lives up there who has everything you have, identical genes, same memory. Even now, you might be thinking about the same question. This is not sensational science fiction. Instead, it is based on infinite space and the finite possible arrangements of matter. Logical deduction under the premise of method. This kind of cosmic scale infinite repetition. It makes your existence more meaningful, or quite the opposite. Make your uniqueness seem pale and powerless. You are unique. Or is it merely the universe in an eternal random combination, accidental, and an infinitely repeating pattern of strength? To put it another way, even if our universe is finite in space, he may also be infinite in time. Either it extends endlessly into the future, or will experience endless, the next cosmic rebirth cycle. Going further, if the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics, the interpretation is correct, so reality lies in every microscopic quantum event. They will branch out endlessly like tree branches. Create a world that contains all possibilities, the infinitely vast multiverse. Infinity upon infinity upon infinity upon infinity upon infinity. We, with our limited cognitive abilities, in trying to grasp such a dizzying infinity, Matryoshka concept, it was almost impossible to do anything about it. The concept of infinity itself, is it ultimately helping us reach and understanding the deepest reality of the universe, a key to the essence, or just one in our physics theory and mathematical tools? It will become ineffective when its applicable limit is reached. Artificially constructed mathematical abstractions. You might ask all of this right now. All these grand discussions about the universe, my daily life as an ordinary person, what specific relationship do they have? Please think about it this way. Every atom that makes up your body, without exception, they are all crossing numbers. In the vast expanse of the universe spanning billions of years, in those long-gone stars, forged in a fiery core, iron in your blood, calcium in your bones, they were all once part of the stars deep in the universe. From this most fundamental level, you are not part of this vast universe, isolated individuals separated from each other. You are inherent in the universe, indivisible components. The universe is through people like you, especially its own material composition, highly concentrated consciousness, to reflect on oneself, to experience and understand this world. Regardless of what's behind all of this, it is a kind of elaborate design. Or was it just a pure coincidence? You as a capable consciousness that contemplates these profound questions. This very moment in the history of the universe, the matter itself, isn't it something that deserves our amazement and real miracles? However, the most fundamental mysteries of the universe, the problem remains unsolved to this day. We still don't know. Why does the universe exist instead of not existing? Why do those who govern the operation of the universe, physical constants, it just so happens to be their current job? Our universe, is it truly unique? Or in a broader multiverse perspective, one of countless possible universes? Did he actually have a clear beginning? Or is he eternally existing? The consciousness we possess, is it the height of matter? Phenomena that emerge after complexity? Or is it a more fundamental property of the universe? The reality we live in? Is there some ultimate purpose hidden behind it? Or perhaps he simply exists as he is, without any preset meaning or direction. These huge gaps in our current understanding. Perhaps science will fill in the gaps in the distant future. But it is also possible. This represents a specific aspect of human beings, the foundation of cognitive ability. There are limitations that we can never fully see. Transparent universe. Even the question we've been asking itself. Who designed the universe? Its formulation from the beginning. There may be fundamental problems. Did this question arise unconsciously? Already, presupposes some things that may not apply to the universe. What about the anthropocentric assumption of ultimate reality? We humans are accustomed to contacting Britain, beginning and end. Think about the world from the perspectives of intention and purpose. But the universe at its most fundamental level, the principle of operation at the fundamental level, it may far surpass those of us. Intuition and categories derived from macroscopic experience. Think about quantum entanglement. Example, they can influence each other instantly no matter how far apart they are. This challenges our understanding of localized Britain. Traditional concepts. Think again about what general relativity reveals. Space and time, unified into a dynamic four-dimensional space-time structure. It overturned our understanding of what came before and what came after. If it is theoretically possible, closed-type curves really exist. So what is the concept of the first note? it will lose its meaning in itself. So, perhaps the universe is not as we imagine it to be. It was designed by some external intelligence. He was probably more spontaneous, intrinsic emergent phenomena, like those exquisite windows in winter, like intricate frost patterns. From the quantum level, those potential possibilities, in and the basic interaction rules, the order that arises spontaneously from crystallization and growth. Perhaps the universe is a kind of cosmology. The theory of reading aloud from the back of one's head is derived from this. In a realm that transcends our linearity, the British concept of time in a cycle, it created the initial conditions for its own existence. Or perhaps the evolution of the universe. It's more like a process similar to natural selection. Among the countless possible seeds of the universe, those that happen to possess a greater advantage over complexity, the universe and the physical parameters of the birth of life. It survived and continued to evolve. Certainly, we also cannot completely rule out another possibility. There is indeed a designer, but this designer, it may not be a personified wonder in the traditional sense. And more likely, it is something we cannot yet understand. Higher dimensions, or operating at a deeper level, cosmic intelligence or fundamental principles. If such cosmic intelligence truly exists, so how should we interpret the Drake equation? Expectations. What is the contradiction with the Great Silence phenomenon? According to the Drake equation, for possible existence in the Milky Way, estimates of the number of intelligent civilizations. The result is often thousands or even millions of grids. But so far, the universe, however, presents us with complete silence. This great silence, what exactly does it mean? Technological civilization will inevitably self-destruct. Or interstellar communication or travel. There are fundamental obstacles. Are we humans truly alone? Or even more disturbing is, those advanced civilizations, for some reason, choosing to hide oneself. If we humans are truly alone, in our observable universe, the only intelligent life. So this leads to a discussion on design. What does that mean? An elaborately designed universe. Shouldn't it be full of life and wisdom? Or a single, intelligent species capable of reflecting on the universe itself? It may already be the entire universe in itself. The ultimate goal of design. Conversely, if the universe was not designed, therefore, should we expect life to be universally present? Or should we hope it's extremely rare? What is puzzling is whether extraterrestrial intelligence exists or not. It seems that none of them can be considered as a universe, whether it is set. This question requires a clear answer. He was just looking at it from a new perspective. This ancient riddle has been reframed. Now, let's make an even bolder assumption. If in the universe, there are indeed beings more advanced than us, advanced intelligent life, they may have already surpassed our understanding, biological limitations, through advanced technology. Entering a post-biological world, a new stage of evolution, such a civilization, their form of existence, communication methods, they may all be completely different from what we imagined. They may have already realized, uploaded to artificial mechanism, or they evolved into energy machine life forms, inhabiting the interior of stars or the world of black hole events. Their perception of time and their operational scale, it may also be very different from ours, so that our meager, decades of radio astronomy observations, the spiders were simply not enough to detect their existence. The seemingly dark and silent universe is like a trace. There may be something hidden behind it, cosmic intelligence beyond our current cognitive abilities. Going further, if the universe itself, at its most fundamental level, it's a kind of intelligence or consciousness, the ancient philosophical thought of Brahmanism, it has regained attention in recent years. He believed that consciousness, not just the brain, the products of this complex material system, rather it is a kind of universe, more fundamental and universal attributes, inherent in matter itself. And like integrated information theory, IIT, such a theory of modern consciousness, then, from the perspective of information processing, to understand consciousness, the emergence of consciousness, integration with the system, related to the complexity of information. This complex information processing, not only, it occurs in our human brain, can also occur in many other natural systems, even the universe as a whole. If this theory is correct, so the universe as a whole can, to constitute something that is beyond our imagination. What about a vast, cosmic-level mental system that integrates consciousness and the human consciousness of us individuals? Could it simply be within this vast cosmic mind? What about those seemingly insignificant points of thought? These speculations, it might sound a bit far-fetched, but the reason they were, this should be seriously discussed. It is precisely because they convex. It revealed the core of our existence, that most fundamental and most perplexing mystery, consciousness itself. This is something we all directly, subjective experience. The world still cannot, by our most advanced physics theories, fully explained. Objective material brain. How exactly does subjectivity arise? First-person experience. This difficulty, which philosophers call consciousness, the fundamental problem of the question. It may be more than just the key to understanding the brain. It is also the key to understanding reality itself. If consciousness is true, it is a fundamental property of the universe, rather than merely the accidental emergence of complex matter. So, the universe we live in, it no longer looks like a cold machine, a giant machine without a soul. Rather, it is more like a being full of inner spirit. Even itself, it is a vivid manifestation of a grand mind. When we delve into the nature of consciousness, the boundary between science and philosophy, it has also become increasingly blurry. Some physicists start from the nature of time. A dynamism was proposed, viewpoints that overturn our daily experience. Our perception of the passage of time. It may simply be a subjective cognitive illusion. In a theoretical model known as the fast universe, past, present, and future, they all exist simultaneously and equally in a higher dimension. Within the static spatial temporal construction of degree, your birth, your life experience, your death, as well as the moment you are reading these words, they are all just this eternally existing four-dimensional space. Time-space clock, just points in different locations. In this way, in fact, nothing really happened, or perhaps changing everything is simply an eternal existence. This highly deterministic cosmological model, this seems to support the design hypothesis to some extent. The universe is like a movie with all the plots, a cosmic epic whose ending has already been written. However, this viewpoint immediately sparked, regarding the existence of human free will, and what is the meaning of our lives, profound philosophical questions. In stark contrast to this is, other physicists have proposed, almost completely opposite views. They believe the future is not entirely certain. Instead, it remains open, and to a certain extent, from the universe, the choices of conscious life forms, and the actions created together. Physicist John Wheeler's participatory anthropomorphic principle. This is a typical example. He boldly believed, observers, especially conscious observers, existence and behavior, for the universe, from quantum potential, China has become a cohesive force for us. The perceived definite reality. It is indispensable. Between consciousness and reality, there may be a profound, cosmic scale feedback loop. In his own words, the universe gave birth to consciousness, but consciousness gives meaning to the universe. This viewpoint, this provides us with a pure design theory, between and pure chance, a fascinating middle ground. The evolution of the universe, possible parts, it is due to its inherent physical necessity, partly due to unpredictable quantum randomness. Another part was conceived by him, able to observe, the participation of conscious life forms in observation and selection, the joint shaping. Now let's face some more issues, strange phenomena that challenge our sense of stability in reality. For example, the so-called Mandela effect. It refers to a group of people that are quite large. They all share a common understanding of a certain reality, historical events or details that never happened. Clear but erroneous collective memory. These collective memory biases, simply because of human memory, it is inherently unreliable. Everyone just happened to remember it wrong. Or is it? There might be something more hidden behind this strange phenomenon. Some bolder speculations suggest that consciousness may not be completely bound to our single physical universe. In the context of a multiverse, is it possible for consciousness to exist in certain extreme circumstances? In rare special circumstances? In those attributes, between very similar parallel universes, some form of jump occurs. Thereby, to use certain fragments of memory from reality, incorrect substitution. In another reality, others believe, reality itself, it may be more than we imagine. Liquidity and plasticity, and to some extent, will be affected by our consciousness, the profound impact of state and observation behavior. Although mainstream science currently prefers to use humans, explained by the fallibility of memory. But these abnormal phenomena, at the very least, it should remind us to reflect. The real world as we perceive it, to what extent, it is caused by our brain and consciousness, actively constructed, rather than merely a passive reaction to the external world. Next, let's delve into a more revolutionary conjecture. Domain. If our entire universe, together with ourselves, they are all just extremely complex computers. What about the simulation program? Everything we've experienced, they're all just luck, traveling in a super code on a cosmic computer. This viewpoint is known as the simulation hypothesis. In recent years, some top physicists, among computer scientists and philosophers, gaining increasing attention. Its core logic lies in, if a civilization developed to a sufficiently high level of technology, it will inevitably possess the ability to create extremely realistic, simulation program capabilities, and it may create a number, extremely large simulations of this kind. From a statistical probability perspective, we are more likely to live one of countless simulated universes, instead of that single fundamental reality. We do indeed live in a simulation program, so the designer's identity then becomes very specific. They are the ones who edited, it wrote about our universe, simulation program programmer. But this still doesn't truly resolve the question of the beginning, the ultimate question for designers. He simply pushed the issue back another layer. Seems we've done it again. I fell into that familiar, in the logical loop of infinite nesting dolls. Perhaps all these questions about the universe, ultimately, they will all converge on one of the most beyond profound mysteries. Why do any things exist instead of eternal nothingness? Why is it present instead of absent? This question has puzzled philosophers for thousands of years. Some theories in modern physics, for example, the concept of vacuum in quantum production theory, description of quantum palm fall, it seems to imply it is impossible to get to the root of the problem. It is inherently an unstable state. Quantum palm. Inevitably, something will arise from nothing. But this is actually, it only addresses that fundamental issue. Took another step forward. Why can this produce? Some quantum vacuums may exist. Why are those? The existence of physical laws governing the operation of the universe. Why is this reality we live in? Its structure and rules. It is precisely in this way that it is permissible. Complex structures. Even in the end, the way consciousness emerges and evolves is constructed. There is no known scientific theory to truly start from the logical starting point, to provide a complete answer to these questions about the origin of existence, the ultimate question, because any scientific explanation, it must itself presuppose the existence of something. This is about existence itself, the ultimate mystery of why it exists. Perhaps it is that question about the design of the universe. After layers of questioning and deliberation, what can be found? Its ultimate and most metaphysical form of expression. We asked, it may no longer be a matter of who designed the universe, but why? There is actually a universe. It is available for us to discuss. Was he designed? Or how he evolved? Or why he did it in a particular way? And exist? If behind this reality that we perceive, there really is a certain kind of, beyond our comprehension, cosmic goal, or deeper intentions. So he may be far beyond the limits of human finiteness, mental, scope of understanding. So much so that the very questions we raise are, they all seem childish and ridiculous in comparison. Like trying to use the language and logic of ants to understand nuclear physics. Or perhaps another possibility exists. State of existence. It is the only logical one in itself. The only possible state. Impossible. It's just due to the limitations of our human thinking. False concepts arising from sex. When we bravely stand, the cutting edge of human knowledge, gazing into the unfathomable depths of the universe, the abyss of mystery, we are forced to confront a truth that demands humility. Compared to the limited knowledge we have gained, its greatest value, perhaps it lies in, let us recognize more clearly, how vast is our own ignorance. Every question we struggle to answer, almost all of them will immediately generate more complex new problems. Every major scientific discovery, while expanding the boundaries of our knowledge, without exception they will reveal to us a broader realm of ignorance. Universe. It is not only more bizarre than we can imagine. He might even be more than us humans. Imagination of specific cognitive abilities. The limits that this behavior itself can achieve. Even more peculiar. Whether it was meticulously designed by some kind of transcendent intelligence, count, or through some inherent physical necessity, and naturally emerge, or from pure, a blind universe and random occurrences, or perhaps in some kind of it completely surpasses all of our current paradigms. Domain. We exist in ways that are even difficult to describe. Reality. This universe includes ourselves. Still that ultimate one, waiting for us to continue exploring, the great mystery of the search and deciphering. We and not an outsider to this puzzle. Ourselves. This is the macro, an indispensable part of the great mystery. However, what is amazing is, despite facing such profound unknowns and enormous difficulties, but we humans have never stopped asking questions. Never gave up exploring, and I have never lost that feeling. Curiosity stemming from the instinct of life. Perhaps it is this unceasing curiosity that, this indomitable spirit of inquiry, contains a profound meaning in itself. Perhaps the evolution of consciousness, one of its most fundamental driving forces. It's for the purpose of thinking about and understanding that, the universe that gave him life. Perhaps these possess, a living being with self-awareness and the ability to reflect. It is the universe that uses to understand itself, a way to explore its own mysteries. Like millions of pairs of hands in endless darkness, eyes that open, they gazed outward at the vast starry sky. It also introspects into the abyss of consciousness. Together we are pursuing that. This began our exploration, the answer to the initial question of the solo journey. Who exactly is it? Or what designed this universe? The answer to this question may never be definitively determined, but the process of exploration itself is full of meaning. Thank you for listening. Hope this journey of cosmic contemplation can inspire you. Good night and sweet dreams.